Good morning, Mr. Harry and everyone. Hope you are always in a good condition, always happy and healthy. So, in this great occasion, I would like to present my research proposal. Before that, let me introduce myself first. My name is Gusti Indah Setiawati, and I am from 4A class. Okay, next slide. All right, the topic of my research is the correlation between the use of English swear words in student social interactions and their improvement in learning English. Next. So there are three main contents in this presentation. The first one is the introduction of my research proposal. The second one is the literature review. And the third one is the research methodology. All right, let's just jump into the first section, which is the introduction. In the introductions, there are six main contents. The first one is the background of the study. The second one is the problem identification. The third one is the limitation of the study. The fourth one is the problem of the study. The fifth one is the objective of the study. And the sixth one, which is the last, is the significance of the study. All right. The first one is the background of the study. Phenomena the use of taboo or swear words, which mean words that tend to have vulgar or offensive traits, have begun to increase as a result of a variety of factors. Taboo always refers to a restricted idea, or one could say sacred, such as the name of God, offensive words, or things like cannibalism or incest, according to Hughes 2006, page 462. Hughes 2006 also points out that taboos have generally shifted from religion to sex or race. In addition, taboos can be expressed in other subjects such as things, creatures, human experience, states, actions, and speech, according to Hughes 2006. So the next is variation in language. Sometimes the use of a language is not limited to everything learned in books or class. Certain situations have an enormous impact on the variation in language. So taboo words or swear words begin to be used and are viewed as a normal thing. And the use of swear words depend on the situation where it can encourage a person to swear. The classification for those who deliver swear words are child, teen, and adult, according to Askiner 2003, page 4 to 5. And swear words. Swear words mean words that tend to have vulgar or offensive traits. Swear words are regarded as a negative or should not be argued or used by a person and generally. Next slide. So, phenomena the use of swear words. When learning a foreign language like English, swear words are being prevented. English-speaking countries such as the United States of America and the United Kingdom consider swear words offensive and inappropriate to be used during any formal situations. Yet in many other countries, swear words are regarded as linguistic study and social cultural knowledge for teachers and students. Also, English swear words by students often through various situations and factors certainly provide adequate demands to the English teaching and learning process. And previously, several studies being conducted related to swear words and also its impact on students. So the first one is Maria Face Ganap Nicolo on 2016 conducted a study that examined the use of swear words among young learners, which is elementary students. Next is Christina et al. 2018 analyzed the use of swear words and the implication for English language teaching. So this topic is getting more interesting because the use of English swear words is increasing very rapidly in student social interaction, and it can be seen from social media and real-life situation. That is the reason why the study being conducted to find out the correlation between the use of English swear words in student social interaction and their improvement in learning English. Therefore, it is also important to know how much this phenomenon affects the students' English learning process. Next slide. Okay, next one is the problem identification. Indonesia is one of the countries that teaches English as a foreign language, leaving the English swear words and their use of the students for fear of affecting the students' speaking ability as well as their behavior. However, school is not the only source for students to learn English. One of the two students' learning sources is social media and real-life situation, and those are out of teachers' reach. Because of that case, the research is being conducted to find out the correlation between the use of English words in student social interactions and their improvement in learning English. All right, next slide. Next is the limitation and problem of the study. So the limitation of the study is the study focuses on analyzing and find out the correlation between the use of English swear words in student social interaction and their improvement in learning English. So based on the background above, the study seeks to analyze the following research question. The first one is there any correlation between the use of English swear words in student social interaction and their improvement in learning English? And the second one is how significant is the relationship between the use of English swear words in student social interaction and their improvement in learning English? All right, next slide. Next is the objective of the study. According to the problem that arises above, the objectives of the study as follows. So the first one is to identify the correlation between the use of English swear words in student social interaction and their improvement in learning English. And the second one is to know the significance between the use of English swear words in student social interaction and their improvement in learning English. Next slide. The next is the significance of the study. On basis of the purpose above, the significance of the study can be stated as follows. So the first one is for students. This research is expected to give the students information about English swear words in their social interaction and how it is influencing the English learning process. The second one is for teacher. This research is expected to provide information for the teacher about the use of English swear words in students' social interaction and the improvement in learning English. From this research, the teacher may design a suitable way on how to deal with this phenomenon. The second one is the researcher. This research is expected to be useful for other researchers who are willing to conduct a research with a similar topic. It also can be referenced to get information about the students' perception on the use of English swear words in doing social interaction. All right, the next we're going to discuss about the literature review. Next slide, please. In the literature review, there are two main sections. The first one is the theoretical review, and the second one is the empirical review. Next slide. Okay, in the theoretical review, there are three main aspects that are going to be discussed. Those aspects are swearing, English swear words, and social interactions. Okay, let's start with swear words. The first one is taboo words. Swearing is using taboo language to express the emotional states of the speakers and communicate the information to the listener, according to CJ 1992. Unlike most other speeches, this is an oath mainly intended to convey connotative or emotional meaning, meaning the word itself is mainly interpreted as connotation, according to J. Index 1977. As constructed by popular news outlets, swearing is its deeper and more complex connection are ostensibly understood and marks communicative function. Swearing is a psychological and sociocultural phenomenon that has been studied related to areas such as health, personality, and gender differences, according to J. 2009. Curse words serve a unique communications functions that allows individuals to express and emphasize their own emotional states. Dirty language is a particularly interesting category of language compared to the level of their offensive depends largely on many factors, including speaker-listener relationship, age, socioeconomic status, and forms of social environment. The use of swear words depend on the circumstances in which they can encourage a person to swear. The age categories of those who use profanity or swear words are children, teenagers, and adults, according to Ascona 2003. The categories of profanity proposed by Anderson and Hayes includes genitals, sexual relations, religions, church, excrement, death, physical or mental disability, prostitution, narcotics, and crime, helping to explain the focus on the broad categories of profanity and specific swear words. In addition, profanity topics such as animal, racism, and intellectual terms are considered. Swear words is influenced by pragmatic contextual variables such as the topic of the conversations, speaker-listener relationships including gender, occupation, and status, and the socio-physical framework of communication according to J. and Jen Sweet 2008. So according to J, 1999, swear words are unique in their way in their ability to express our strongest emotions, and unlike non-swear words, curses gain strength from the need to suppress them. Those when the speaker is in emotional states, when breaking taboos or taboo swearing isn't understood to occur. When swearing, the speakers usually give some additional emphasis, intonation, and connotation, as well as gestures and facial expressions to reinforce the expression of the swearing. This is according to Aljung 2011. Aljung classified profanity types in two ways. It is based on function and dump. Function plays a role in the purpose of the swear words to be used, and dump refers to the area or category in which the swear words are formed. In terms of functionality, it is divided in two categories. There are freestanding and slot fillers. Separate functions are swear words that are pronounced or produced as separate components. The words can stand on their own without adding any other words. The independent functions are divided into 7 swear words, including swear words, oaths, curse, affirmation and contradictions, unfriendly hints, and etiquette abuse. Next slide. Alright, the next is English swear words. Endang and Brom, 2001, said the English profanities or swear words has long been considered offensive. A language of English-speaking countries such as the United States of America and the United Kingdom. Swear words are considered taboo and should not be spoken in during a live TV show or an official broadcast. Swear words or those profanity is considered inappropriate and offensive because some profanity refers to genitals and sexual intercourse. Another classification of the literal meaning of word is from J 2009, who classified profanity recommenders into 9 categories, namely sexual suggestive, profane or profane, obscene and obnoxious items, animal names, race, social sex, slurs, psychology, social bias, ancestral allusions, low-level vulgar terms, and offensive slang. For example, asexual curse refers to sexual behavior such as fucking, sexual anatomy, and sexual deviations, and others. The next is the social interaction. The reciprocal relationship between two or more people in which each person participates and plays an active role in an interactive social life, for example, mutually beneficial behaviors or acts, is referred to as social interactions, according to Anjasari et al. 2020. So the word society is derived from the Latin word societas, which means society, friends, or relationship in the context of family, schools, and organizations. According to Ahmadi 2019, the cornerstone to social life is social interactions. People, individuals, and groups form a dynamic social relationship as a result of this process. Only when 2 conditions are met, the first one is social context and communication. It is social engagement feasible. Students can reprimand and share information with one another, do homework, and chat. This is a type of social interaction activity, according to Hasti and Nur Farhana, 2013. Individuals have a mutual bond when they interact socially in the family. The goal of social skills is to obtain reciprocity in order to form relationship with people. Communication, collaboration, sharing, participation, and adaptations are examples of social skills, according to Rahayu 2016. Social interactions is necessary because interaction is like the key to all social life. There is no shared life without social interactions. Especially for children, social interaction is one thing that children need to develop their character and social skills when dealing with others, according to Shao 2018. Social skills are one of the forms of social intelligence and that are important to support social life, as success is synonymous with intelligence and social intelligence, according to Abah 2018. The social skills students need to interact with others include the first one is living and working together. The second one is learning self-control, and the third one is sharing ideas and experiences with others. This is according to Wahyuti 2015. The next is the empirical review. So in the paper, I provide 10 empirical reviews, but in this presentation, I will only use 3 of them as the example. So the first study was conducted by Andang and Bram, 2018, conducted study that has the proposed to answer 2 research questions, namely first, what swear words are most commonly used according to COCA, and second, what is the impact of swear words frequency on English learners and teachers. The second study was conducted by Ann and Tan, 2017. The aim of the study is to answer 2 research questions, namely the first is, do video games with high amongst the preventative have higher sales figures. The third one is Uganda Nicolo 2016 conducted a third study which aimed to address the following research questions. The first one is what are the most commonly used swear words? The second is what causes participants to use curse words or swear words? And next is how do participants tone down their swearing? And the last is how do participants learn how to swear? The next is research methodology. Next slide. Alright, the research methodology divided into 4 sections. The first one is the research design. The second one is research subject and object. The third one is method and instruments of data collections. And the fourth one is method and technique of data analysis. Next slide. The first one is research design. This research is conducted using a correlational study. Correlational research is a study that aims to determine the level of relationship between two variables without making any changes to the data has been obtained, according to Saharsimi and Arikundo 2010. This research uses quantitative approach. Research with a quantitative approach is research in the form of numbers and proceeds using statistical analysis. The purpose of this research is to find out the correlation between the use of English swear words in student social interactions and their improvement in learning English. Next slide. The next is research subject and object. The first one is population. According to Arikundo 2010, the population is the whole subject study. Meanwhile, according to Sugiono, the population is a region generalization consisting of objects or subjects that have quality and certain characteristics defined by the research to be studied and to draw conclusion. Therefore, it can be said that population is the entire subject that will be subject to generalization of the research results. Based on the above definition, the populations in this research is students of class 12, SMA Negeri 1 Busung Biu, academic year 2022 and 2023, and the total population of the research is 120 students and divided into 4 different classes. The next is sample. The sample is part of the population that is taken through the following methods: certain, clear, and complete, which is considered to be representative of the population. That sample itself is a part of population consisting of several members of population, according to Ferdinand 2011. Atticus Nandi defines a sample as the portion of the population that is examined. Furthermore, Sarsimi Arikunto pointed that if the populations are less than 100 people, use all of them, but if there are more than 100 people, only 10 to 15% or 20 to 25% of population use as sample. Therefore, this research will use 30 students from the total of population. Next is the sampling technique. The sampling technique is a technique used in selecting the sample. The sampling technique used by the researchers is random sampling technique. Simple random sampling technique is a technique that is very easy, and the results are judged to have a high level of representations of the population. This technique is a way sampling where each element that makes up the population is given an equal chance of being selected into the sample. In the study, conducting research to find out the correlation between the use of English words in student social interactions and their improvement in learning English is in SMA Negeri 1 Busong Biu, then its student in class 12, totaling 120 people, have the same probability of being selected into the sample. This method is very easy when there is a complete list of elements of population. The simple random sampling technique used is by lottery method, where the draw was done to avoid the subjectivity of the researcher. The sampling method is taken for language 1, language 2, science 1, and science 2 classes with a total number of 120 students. And based on the results of the draw, the chosen one is language 1 class with the total 30 students. Next slide. The next is the method of data collection. Data collection technique is an activity to collect data that will examine to obtain real data when conducting study. Data collection techniques can be done in various ways, for example, questionnaire, observation, documentation, interview, tests, and others. According to Suharsimi Arikundo, the collection of data is an important job in research. Data collection is very crucial to be done by researchers because it has the purpose to obtain data that is accurate. In the study, the researchers use survey method and test method to collect the data. The first one is the survey method. Survey research, according to Kellinger, is study undertaken on big or small populations. But the data investigated are data from samples taken from the community in order to identify relative occurrences, distributions, and correlations between sociological and psychological characteristics. According to Newman, survey research is quantitative study. In survey research, the researchers inquires about past or present beliefs, views, object qualities, and behavior from a group of people or respondents. Questions concerning one's own idea and behavior are the focus of survey research. Next is test method. The test technique is a process of gathering data that is methodically and objectively used to assess individuals or group skills, knowledge, intelligence, abilities, and talents. This method is used to assess students' English learning and levels outcome. According to Nana Sujana, a test is a set of questions provided to students in order to elicit a response from them in the form of an oral test, a written test, or an action test. According to Zainal Arifin, a test is a strategy used in the context of carrying out measuring activities in which it involves a sequence of questions or tasks that students must complete or respond in order to measure aspects of their learning. So next slide, please. Alright, the next is the instruments of data collections. The research instrument is a device for observing and measuring natural and social events. All phenomena in this are referred to as the research variable. A questionnaire and an English test were used as research instruments in this study. The first one is a questionnaire. The instruments of the research is in the form of questionnaire system containing the following points, statements, and questions to be responded by the research subjects. The development of the instrument is based on theoretical description that have been prepared previously then translated into items questions. The measurement scales of the instruments use a scale model stratified or Likert scale model to measure the frequency with 5 alternative answers with value weight 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 from always to never. The next is test. The research instruments used next is a test in the form of a simple English test to measure students' learning abilities. And this test has two stages. The first is a written test with 20 multiple choice questions, and the second is an oral test to measure students' listening and speaking skills. Next slide. This is the example of the questionnaires that I am going to use. And in the right, there is a table that indicates the Likert scale survey. A questionnaire is a type of data collection method that involves posing a series of questions or statements that must be answered. The sort of questionnaire is utilized in the study was a Likert scale, which consists of a statement followed by columns showing the frequency levels from always to never. The questionnaire utilized is a closed questionnaire, which allows the respondent to respond quickly and researchers to examine data from all the questionnaires collected. In compiling the questionnaires, there are several steps, namely as follows. The first one is the perform data specification by adjusting the scope, the problem to be researched, and the research objectives. And the second is compile a grid table for making questionnaire based on indicate with charging's instruction. Next slide. Alright, this is the example of the English test being used. So the first one is the oral test, when the student is required to listen to the question below and answer briefly using English to show their English listening and speaking ability. The next is on the right, this is the written test, written English test to find out the ability of students, their English learning ability. Alright, next is the method of data analysis. Data analysis techniques are intended to find answers to research questions or about problems that have been formulated previously. So the analysis of data collection is the process of systematically searching and compiling data that obtained from the results of questionnaires, field notes, and other materials so that it can be easily understood and the findings can be informed to others. So to check and investigate the positive and significant correlation comparison of the use of English swear words and learning English improvement among grade 12 students in SMA Negeri 1 Busongbiu academic year 2022 to 2023. The Radel analyzed the data by using product movement correlation, and it can be seen on the screen. This is the formula of the product movement correlation, where R represents the correlation coefficient, N represent the number of students, X represent the independent variable, and Y represent the dependent variables. Alright everyone, that is all about my research proposal. Thank you so much for watching. I apologize if there are any mistakes, and I am really open to any suggestion and comments. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Thank you.